Hello and welcome to Paving the Way podcast on another episode. My name is Seth Amoa, aka SA. I'm here with Kenny Jean-Louis, aka KJL. And we're here today with someone special, arguably the best women basketball player out of Canada. I'm going with that. Yeah, you know, for sure out of Quebec and arguably out of Canada. Miss Nirra Fields.
Merci Nara d'avoir accepté l'invitation. Je t'ai envoyé un message, puis directement t'as dit oui. Quand je t'envoyais le message, je savais pas à quoi m'attendre, hein, puisque t'es à un big level, mais directement t'as dit que t'avais regardé des émissions puis que t'aimais qu'est-ce qu'on faisait. So, je pense qu'il y a beaucoup de personnes qui vont apprendre de ton histoire. So, merci encore d'avoir accepté notre invitation.
For sure.
No worries, and thank you for having me. Obviously, I don't feel like I'm that big time, so you reaching out, I was obviously going to do it. I mean, we had the Quebec connection right there, so obviously I had to do it for you, but thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
The first question is, where did you grow up and why did you start playing basketball, or maybe you played another sport before? Can you tell us about it?
Great question. So I grew up, for the most part, in La Chine. So La Chine, Dorval area. And the reason why I played basketball was because I grew up with 6 brothers and they all played basketball.
Oh, 6.
So yeah. So they all played basketball, and like whatever my brothers did, I wanted to do. Like it was like a competition. We all like played the same sport, and like whoever was the best had like bragging rights. So like we're super competitive. So like it always, like I started playing football. I actually wanted to be the first girl in the NFL. I was really good at football. Tackle football, I played on my brother's team. I also played rugby. I did track. We did everything basically. And like it was always a competition. So it was if it was track year, like we all just like played track, and then whoever got the most ribbons can go home and like have bragging rights and stuff like that. Or like we just like kind of just like trash talk each other. So I wanted to be the first girl in the NFL. And then after 2 years of playing football, that's when my mom was like, okay, you have to like quit because the guys are getting bigger and you're becoming a woman. And basketball is my second love, so I was like, okay, I'll just like commit to basketball. So after that, I started playing basketball, and like it just became an everyday thing. I would like live and sleep in the gym. I would go to the park and play against all the guys. I'd be the only girl on the court, and they wouldn't treat me like a girl. They would hit me and they would foul me, and like that's how I really got good, because I just played against a whole bunch of guys who were always better than me, always bigger, always faster. And then after that, like I saw how my game was improving, because whenever I went to play with the girls, it was so much easier. And then I saw my game evolve, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe I have something to go for.
Yeah. Which position did you play? Football. Which position were you playing?
I did everything. So I was safety. I was running back. The number one position I played was wide receiver. So me and my brother Chris were kind of like the same age. So he would play on one end and I play on the other end for receiver. So like we both played on the same team for a bit. My first year we didn't play on the same team because he was older. So I did everything. I was kicker, running back. I did quarterback a little bit, but I did most of receiver and tight end, stuff like that.
Yeah. You always hear all these. It's great. It's funny you say that, because you always hear all these athletes, you know, in the States playing 2 sports, and basketball being their second love, you know. And right, I'm just like in shock. You said football is your first love. I was like, whoa. So I was like, I was like, football. Wow, that really took me. Yeah. When you started playing football, and I guess you're like you want to go in the NFL. What made you say the NFL when you know, okay, this is like that's, you know, all males, and why right away you chose the NFL? Why not like I know there's like a female football league somewhere.
Yeah. I think at the time I didn't even understand that they had a women's league. But the one game that made me say NFL is because we're playing like guys didn't think I was that good. So when I first started, they put me on like a B team. So there's an A team and a B team. But I played for LaSalle Warriors. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yep.
So I played with them, and then they didn't think I was that good because I was a girl, obviously. So they put me on the B team. And then every year the A and B team, they scrimmage. And then my brother happened to be on the A team. So I was playing against my brother my first year. I really didn't know how to play. I was just athletic. So that game, like, we weren't supposed to win. Like, they were supposed to kill us. And then I went out. I had 4 touchdowns, all off of receiving. And then I had, like, a great game. And then basically from there, like, people understood, like, okay, she's good. Like, she's a girl, but she's really good. And then as I kept playing games, I got better. And, like, as I, like, figured out how to play, what the rules were, like, how to, like, get by people and stuff like that, then my game grew, and I was, like, really good for a girl. Obviously, I'm a girl. And then, then I was like, yo, I enjoy it. Like, it's fun. Obviously, guys are, like, kind of mad when they think I'm a girl or they get tackled by a girl. But I was just like, no, I love the game. It was super fun to me. So I thought NFL for sure.
Yeah. And when did you start playing for DJ Sport, or were you playing high school then DJ Sport? Like when?
If I can remember, I think I was young. I was probably like in my teens, so like probably 13, 14 around there. And then, yeah, I always did football, and then I would just go to basketball. But I played at LCC, so Lower Canada College. And then I met Moses, I think, later on. I don't know how we met, but we met. And then I decided to play first team. And then after that, I would just like play. I played 3 years there. So I did midget, juvenile 2 years, and that was it. But, yeah, he kind of like figured me out. He saw me playing, I guess. And then he asked if I wanted to be on the team. And then from there, like, we had a great connection, and I just stayed with the team.
Because a lot of people say that Nara put DJ Sport on the map, so that's why I had to mention DJ Sport.
I don't think I put us on the map. Like, the one thing about Moses was he was really good at like understanding who was good. They weren't probably good in the environment they were in, but he understood potential. So like he saw me, and then he saw other girls that had potential. And, like, he brought the team together in order to, like, make us really good. I don't think it was just me. Like, there was Fatu, there was Sheila. Like, we had a lot of good players that, like, contributed to DJ Sports. But he had a great, like, eye for, like, putting a team together.
Okay. You went to Lakeside Academy.
Yes.
Yeah, Lakeside Academy, yeah. So it's funny because when I was in high school, I used to play against Lakeside.
Really?
Yeah. Lauren Hill Academy.
Yeah.
So same league. Yeah. So my thing is, so Lakeside. How is it? Because I know if you're from Lakeside and then you transferred to go to Ohio. I guess you went to high school in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Lakeside, then I went to LCC, so Lower Canada College.
Okay.
And then I went to Ohio. So.
Ohio. Yeah. So I want to know what was the why did you leave Lakeside to go to LCC and then leave LCC to go to Ohio?
LCC was a better opportunity academically, and they're offering scholarship. They just had better resources. Lakeside was a good school; it was a public school, but like you understand, like the public system doesn't have a lot of resources, and a lot of times, like if you're in school and you're not in like a higher class, like you kind of get pushed to the side. So like teachers don't really care as much. So for me, I wanted to like be educated in a way that the teachers cared about me, but also play in a program where they had the resources needed for me to like really excel as a basketball player. So that's when I went to LCC because academically they were better. They just had everything. Everything was better there. So that's what made me go to LCC.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for people trying to, like you said, transfer for a good reason, how to adapt? Because you said you did like what, three school back to back. So how maybe like young kid can adapt when they're changing place?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. For me, the thing that helped me adapt was like, I'm not actually extroverted. I'm very introverted. So for me, it actually was really hard because naturally I'm not the person to go into like a new school and like just walk up to the person and say like, hello. Like I'm very like in my own shell. The one thing that really helped me was that I was going to a team. So like I already had like teammates, and then my teammates allowed it for me to be easier because I kind of had friends. I didn't have to make it because I had my team. So, like, as a sport, like, you have your teammates. Like, really try to develop those relationships on the team so they can help you kind of, like, adapt. And it makes the situation easier when you have, like, teammates or you have somebody you know there with you. So that's what was helping.
So what made you decide to go to Ohio?
What made me decide to go to Ohio was that I actually was playing in a tournament called March Madness. They have it at the YMCA every year, and it was a co-ed league, and my brother was the coach, my older brother, and I was the only girl on the team, and we're in a tournament. It was a championship game. We're playing an all-guys team. They're the best team in the tournament. We're kind of like the worst, and then finals, like we're going back and forth. I'm having a good game, and then it goes down to like the wire, and they end up winning like last second. I think they hit a shot, but I had a really great game, and I was playing against all guys, which was pretty like common for me because I was used to it. And then my mom was at the game. And then there happened to be a gentleman in the audience that knew somebody in Ohio. So when he saw me playing, he's like, okay, this girl's pretty good. And then he heard my mom screaming in the crowd. And I guess after the game, he walked up to my mom and was like, your daughter's pretty good. I know a coach in Ohio that would love to like have her on the team. And like before that actually happened, I actually manifested it. Like I don't know what happened. I think I was playing for Team Canada at the time. We just came back, and we played Team USA, and they like killed us. And I was like, yo, like I want to go to the States and play because they have the best basketball players.
Yeah.
So I had that already set in my mind.
Okay.
So when that happened, I knew it was a yes. I kind of like manifested it. So after the game, I go and see my mom, and he's sitting there. I'm like, who is this guy? And then she's like, oh, this guy talked to me. He said he can get you a scholarship to go to Ohio. And I was like, yeah, for sure, I want to go. And my mom was kind of like hesitant. She didn't want her only daughter to go to like a foreign country, not know the people, and like not be there with me. So she said no initially, and he was like, okay, if you change your mind, like just get back to me. So for like the next 6 months, I kind of like begged my mom to go to Ohio, and then finally she let in. So like I think I was 13, 14. I like picked up my stuff, packed my stuff, and then moved to Ohio, and that's when I started my journey.
How was the transition to go from Canada to the States?
It was hard. Initially, it was hard. I think I was a little bit prepared because when I was in Canada, I had already been to like probably 2-3 different schools. So I was used to changing, but now I'm in another country, which is completely different. But the one thing that really helped me was that my mom worked a lot, and then I had 6 brothers. My dad was never around. So like when my mom was gone, we kind of had to like take care of ourselves. I took care of myself, but I also took care of my brothers. So I had a little bit of discipline and responsibility to like take care of myself. So when I ended up going to Ohio, like I already had that discipline, which was like easier for me because I didn't need a parent to be over my shoulder. But like some of the things that I went through, such as like living with teammates, having to deal with politics and all that stuff, pretty hard as a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just pushing through. Like I didn't really care. I just wanted to play basketball. As long as I was playing basketball, I was good. And yeah, I just kind of like, I just had the mindset like, I don't care what happens. Like I'm just going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. At what time and point, and I guess when you're in Montreal, did you know like, you know what? I think I'm pretty good. You know, I'm probably better than half these guys, you know? So like at what point in Montreal do you know that?
I'm not gonna lie, I've actually never hit my head because I was always humbled, like because I would go home and like my brothers were better than me, so like I saw myself in that context. Like if I'm not the best in the family, then I'm not that good. So like I was never the best in the family, but I was always striving to be. So like in my head, I didn't think I was that good, and I was a little bit naive and I was a little bit oblivious. Like I'm not super like out there and stuff like that. I'd rather be like in the like just behind the scenes. So I wasn't really looking at stats or anything like that. I wasn't looking at the top, but like I kind of realized that I was pretty good when like people would come up to me and be like, "Oh my God, you're Chris's sister." I'm like, "Yeah, you're dope at basketball." Like they would say stuff like that. So like obviously like I would understand that a little bit, but for the most part, like if I went to the gym or I went to the park with my brothers, they'd beat my ass. So I never felt like I was good. So like I kind of knew when I left, I guess.
Okay. Did you always work out with your brothers and stuff?
Yeah, always. Like, always. So there's 7 of us. We all just go to the park and then we play pickup. So we have a full team. That's like plus 2. So like we just play pickup with whoever is at the park, and usually like older guys and guys that can really hoop. So we just go to the park and play.
Okay, so you're the only female.
Yeah, every time. Every time.
Yeah. I remember playing against your brother Chris. He played for LaSalle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember playing him.
Yeah.
And did you were good right away when you went to the States, or like were you like killing them, or it was a transition like when you went to the States in Ohio?
I think no, I was killed. I don't know why, but like playing against guys really was the best thing for me, and like playing football and all that stuff. So like I was always super athletic. I was always more athletic than most. I think when it got really hard is when I got to UCLA, because then everybody's athletic and like the numbers of like who's the best is smaller. Like that pool of the best is smaller. But like in high school, I was super dominant. I was always really good.
I know you went to Ohio, or you went to
Oak Hill too.
Oak Hill Academy, yeah. And then you went to Santa
Mater Dei.
Something, yeah. Okay, yeah. So like, I guess so the one in California, that was your best year, right? You had, or no? I
think Oak Hill and Mater Dei both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were my best years.
Okay, so at what part, like, I guess, when did you know, like, oh, I could probably go play UCLA? Or like, well, not UCLA, but NCAA D1.
I started at Oak Hill. I just started getting like boxes of like just offers, like Duke, Miami, Vanderbilt, like every school. Like I had over 100 schools like that just would offer me scholarships, and like I didn't care. I just wanted to hoop. So like I would get literally like mail every day, like stacks of mails. Like I had boxes of like DVDs of like just written letters from like coaches, like, oh, we want you out of school, blah blah blah. But like I didn't care about that, so I wasn't really paying attention. I would literally take it, like throw it in a box. I never opened it. And then my senior year, when I actually had to decide, I was just like, I'm just gonna play the year. I'm not gonna care about where I want to go, and then I'll just figure it out after the season. So after the season, I sat down. At that time, I was living with Mike Brown. He was the coach for the Lakers, and he did a lot through like the recruiting process. So me and him sat down. We would like call schools and like try to figure out, okay, who do I have the best relationship with? What programs are they offering? And then what school did I feel like I wanted to go to? So after the season, we did that. We came up with 5 schools. I think the 5 schools were Miami, UCLA, Kentucky, Louisville, and USC. I think it was USC. So, and then Duke was 6, but I knew I didn't want to go to Duke after talking to the coach. So I was like,
Why not?
And in my mind, like, we just didn't have the chemistry. We didn't see eye to eye. I guess she was trying to rush the process, and I was really trying to take my time. So I knew, like, in her doing that, it was kind of like a red flag. So I was like, yeah, that's an automatic no. So yeah.
What were the? Oh, sorry. No.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, you done? Or you good? Okay. Like, I want to know the struggles you went through, like, because playing the States for sure it's different from here. In Montreal, more physical, more, I guess, athletic. Like you said, we just want to hoop, and you did really put up some amazing numbers. Like, I want to know, were there any struggle or challenges during that time when you're in high school before making your decision of where you want to go?
Yeah, definitely. My first year, I went to Ohio. It's called Virginia High. So the first thing was they're all girls school. Like, I've never been to all girls school in my life. I was like, whatever. I just want to hoop. So that was the first struggle. The second was that I was living with a teammate, but it happened that, like, her mom was dating our coach, and then her daughter was also on the team. But me and her kind of like played similar positions. So when I came in, I was taking some of her minutes, and then it became like there was friction between us. So I would have to go home to that every day. And like, obviously her mom was like on her side. That's her daughter, right? So like I would go into that, and it was like there was so much tension in the house. Like I would just like stay in my room. I wouldn't come out. Like, through that process, obviously I wanted to go home and like be with my parents and stuff like that. But it kind of was just like, you know what, push through it. So after that happened, not long after the season ended, the school closed. So I was like, I don't have a school to go to next year. And I was like, the one thing I didn't want to do was like, I didn't want to go home. In my eyes, that was failure. So after the school closed, I was like, what am I going to do? So I ended up talking to one of my friends. His name's Rome. He actually went to Providence, and he knew a guy in Ohio that he was like really close with, and took him in. He was from Canada as well. And he's like, call him. Like, I think he'll help you. So he was like my last option before I was going to go home. And then he happened to know people, and then that's when I was able to like go and live with him and like move to a situation which was better for me, where I wasn't being as neglected or having to go through some of like the tension that was like building up in the house. And yeah, that was some of my struggles. And then also just like missing home and not having anyone to guide you at that age, kind of like just have to figure it out on your own. So yeah.
Okay. And you just said that Mike Brown, who was the coach for the Lakers at that time, helped you kind of guide you or help you with the decision. Mm-hmm. But you went to UCLA, which is in Los Angeles. So I'm thinking Mike Brown, Lakers, UCLA. So was it did it made it easy for you to just go to a UCLA knowing that maybe Mike Brown was around or his family was around? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, like I did, it got down to like 2 schools. So it was Miami and UCLA. I really wanted to go to Miami. Like, before I went out to make my announcement, because we had this big like announcement. You know how the guys have the hats and all that stuff? Mm-hmm. Like, we had it, but we had it for like all the basketball players, all the volleyball players. So it was like big at Modern Day. So like you would go up and like you would announce, and it's a big thing, and like the whole school's watching it. So right before I go out, I already knew I was going to Miami. Like, I had my choice made. It was between those two. But I don't know what happened. I just ended up in the moment picking UCLA. But he did.
Oh, yeah?
He did end up having an influence on that because for the most part, like, I've never had, like, really family come and watch me play at that moment, like, at that time when I was playing basketball. So I wanted, like, somebody who I felt like was family to be able to come to the games and support me. And if I needed anything, they would be there. So, yeah, he did influence it a little bit.
Okay. How did you end up, I guess, getting familiar with Mike Brown and his family from, all those?
So a guy that I call, he's like my father, I call him my uncle. So the guy that after the Ohio school closed down, his name's Mike Duncan. So after I met him, me and him got super close. And every year he would go to Mike Brown's house because Mike Brown's his best friend for Thanksgiving. So I happened to live with him. He's like, let's go. Like, we're going to go see Mike Brown. I didn't know who he was. I didn't even know if he was an NBA coach. I had no idea. So we roll up to the house. I'm like, yo, the house is huge. I'm like, yo, what does he do? And after meeting him, like, I figure out he's an NBA coach for at that time, he was the Cavaliers. That's what was going. And then I met his family, and then we got along super well. Like, we hit it off really well. And I guess Mike Duncan, which the guy I was staying with at the moment, Mike Brown's best friend, he was talking to Mike Brown about some of the struggles I was going through, and he knew kind of a bit of my backstory. So after he got fired from the Cavs, he got the coach for the Lakers, and he was like, I understand, like, you're going through some stuff, but, like, our family really likes you, and, like, we really get along, so if you want to come to LA and live with us, we'll take care of you, and, like, we'll be your guardian for the moment. And then I was like, yes. I was definitely not no. So that's how we developed it.
Wow.
Okay. And how was your first year at UCLA?
My first year, for the most part, it was pretty hard because, like, every time you change, like, you go to a higher level, it's always just, like, an adjustment process of, like, understanding, like, what the team wants, what your role is on the team, and then obviously there's always just better players. Like, in high school, it was pretty easy for me, but now it's like college, and they're quicker. They're just as quick or quicker, but they're also smarter, and they have the experience. So I couldn't really get away with most of the things that I would get away with. Okay. But I was going into a team that was rebuilding. So I think my first year we had 4 girls that were, like, prospects for the WNBA. So our team was pretty stacked. And so I just came in and I did what I needed to do. I didn't have, like, much of a bigger role as, like, the other girls. But then my second year when they all graduated, that's when I had more of an opportunity to really do what I did best, which is score and have the ball in my hands. So, like, yeah, every year was different. I couldn't say, like, they were all similar.
I was gonna say your second year, your numbers just jumped. You know,
right.
Yeah, from points, rebounds, assists. I don't know what did you do that summer. Do you do anything different that summer, or to get ready for the year after? You know, when that 4 players are graduating, like, we're leaving. So what'd you do?
I didn't do anything different. It was just that I was in a role that I was comfortable with, and I was accustomed to, so, like, a scorer. So obviously that felt like it was home for me. But also, like, when you go to college, it's like a different like strength and conditioning routine. They actually have you in the weight room. So, like, my strength and conditioning coach, he was like, I would say he was like a football strength and conditioning coach. Like, heavier was better. So I was obviously lifting heavier, doing more in the weight room, and then we did a lot of conditioning. So I was just, like, physically in shape. I was just better.
Okay.
And I was winning the NIT championship that year. That was that year, right?
It was a year after that. So
a year after that?
Yeah. So my junior year, we won. And then, then after that, we went to C16.
Yeah. How was that? How's that experience?
It was, I loved it. It was dope. I mean, we were pretty mad. Like, we actually didn't want to go to the NIT because we felt like we should have been in the NCAA tournament. So it was like a slap in the face for us to, like, be invited. And then our coach talked us into it, and she was like, no, this is an opportunity for you guys to get better. So obviously we just went. We didn't really want to be there. So as the tournament progressed, we kind of were like, okay, we have a shot at winning this because we're, like, killing teams, and, like, we're really coming together because throughout the whole entire year, we're kind of just not on the same page. We had all this talent, but it didn't really show in our games and for the wins and losses. So, it was just like it was a learning experience. We really gelled in that tournament, and we kind of, like, saw, like, okay, we have potential. And that's what kind of, like, fueled us for the next year to go to C16.
And I was playing for her, like Corey Close. That's the name of
Yeah,
the coach. Yeah, I was playing for her. I know she's been coaching for a while. Like I was playing for her.
I love her. I mean, she's definitely very different than I am. She's very passionate. She's definitely very detail oriented. Um, I really like the fact that she cared. Like the one thing that she taught me that like I didn't really understand as a young person playing basketball is that like you're more than just a basketball player. Like you have this platform, so use it to give back. And like whenever we were off the court, we always did like charity events where we go to like houses and like we'd like have like goodie bags for families that were like in poverty and didn't have much. So we go to their houses, like have food, like clothes, all the other stuff. And then we go to their house and like we meet the parents and we meet the kids and we kind of like interact with them. We go to like homeless shelters and all that stuff. So like the one thing that she did teach me was that to give back, like you're super you have this platform and it's a privilege. So use it to give back and like be of service. So that was good.
And also, I was playing for Team Canada, representing your country. How was that experience?
Um,
Because I know you play like Pan Am, you play a junior national,
Every level there is.
senior. So when you're like, hey, which year is talking about?
yeah. It's one that like you'll never forget. It's gonna stick with you for like the rest of your life. It's definitely it's a different experience. Like when you're really representing a whole country and like you go to every game and you put the jersey on, like it just brings like a different energy. Like obviously I went to UCLA and obviously I went to WNBA, but like something was different about you just having that red and white on and saying Canada. So like for me it was like an honor. Like I just love the whole process of like me like kind of just making my way through the ranks and like seeing my game develop and then understanding that I'm playing for something bigger than myself. So it was cool.
And also, I was playing in front of your family because I know the Pan Am game was in Toronto in 2015. So I was playing in front of your family because I know you were away for a while. So now they were able to come see you play. So how was that?
No, I loved it actually. They actually surprised me because I didn't know they were coming.
Oh.
And then we're in warm-ups, we're about to play the game, and like I think somebody tapped me on my shoulder and like, yo, Nirra, look. So I look in the corner and it's obviously my family. They have like a big poster and it says Nirra Fields and they're all like smiling and waving. So that just gave me a boost of energy to be like, you know what, like I'm gonna put on a show. I'm just gonna really go out there and play hard and like just do it for them because that was the first time in like years they seen me play basketball.
Wow. Yeah. So when you're at UCLA, at what point did you know what, WNBA could be an option here?
I didn't even think about it. I mean, I think like people were talking about it and there was whispers here and there. And like for me personally, I didn't feel like I had my best year, like as the scorer, because that's what I define myself as a basketball player. So like I was just like, if it happens, it happens, and I'll be happy. But I wasn't really focused on it. And then I think I was in my dorm room. I knew the draft was on. I didn't want to watch it because I was scared. And then I was just watching something in my dorm room, and then I get like 20, 50 text messages like congratulating me that like I got drafted. And I was like, really? Like I had to like go on my phone and like go back to where they said it, and then
So you didn't watch it? You didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it. I was scared. I didn't want to watch it because I was like, if I watch it and then it doesn't happen, it's gonna hurt even more. So I'm just gonna. I just don't want to watch it because it was just nerve-wracking.
I know. Junior time at UCLA, there's some big names that came from the men's side during that time. So when you were there, remember you're a scorer, right? You're averaging 17, 15, like you're averaging all these points throughout your 4 years. And then all these names are coming out of like the men's side, and that's what I'm thinking. Weren't you like, you know what? You have a chance of going to WNBA, So like, did that push you? Did that push you more to like, I guess, go harder?
The one thing that pushed me to go harder, it wasn't even about them because like the guys were cool and like it's very different like for men to go to the NBA than it is for the WNBA. Like I didn't really see it that way. The one thing that I did see is that when I was younger, like it was my number one goal to go to WNBA. Like I had literally a poster of Candace Parker and I said, I'm gonna go to WNBA. That was my goal, and I put it in my room, and it was like a big picture, and I would just like look at it every day. And then like somewhere along the lines, like when I left and I started traveling and stuff like that, kind of got lost. But I always had that goal of like, okay, I just want to go to WNBA. But my senior year, I didn't feel like I had a great year. I was like a lot of girls in my class. There was like Brianna Stewart, Mariah Jefferson, like all these big time players. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. But when it did happen, it was that relief. Like, okay, I finally like made my dream become a reality.
Yeah, that's like,
Well,
what was the memorable, like, do you have any memorable games that you played throughout your 4 years?
yeah, I don't know why. I always played good against Oregon. So we played Oregon, I think it was my senior year, and I wasn't shooting good from the three. So, like, they came in and they knew I was, like, a driver and I can get to the rim. So they were kind of, like, giving me the cushion. And, like, Oregon, if you don't know how they play, like, in the zone. They're not super athletic, but we had a lot of athleticism. So that was their game plan. So I come out, and then my first shot is a three, and then I hit it. And then from then on, I think I hit 5 or 6 threes. I hit 6 threes. I had like 21 in the second half, like killed them. I had 31 for the game, and that was one of my memorable games. And then my highest scoring game was, what was it? I think it was 38. We played a team. I don't remember the team, but that was another game.
And who would you say was the toughest girl to guard?
That's a good question. Toughest girl to guard.
Or maybe team, maybe?
For Team Canada, when we played Team USA, the toughest definitely was, I think I was guarding, what was I guarding? I was guarding Simone Gustus. So she was the hardest to guard. And then in college, it would have to be, it was Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum was the hardest because we played her often.
Jeez. So I guess when you made the WNBA, can you walk through the whole experience? For a lot of people, I'm sure, that's the dream, right, for every female athlete or even males, to go to the NBA. So that process, once you figured out that, oh man, I made the team, what happened next?
So basically, when you make the team, it's like your whole life kind of like changes. Like you're no longer a student, you're now a pro athlete. So for me, it was I was still in school. I had one class that I needed to pass in order to graduate. So it was that summer. It was summer school, and I think I was in one or two classes. And then they called me. I got drafted, and like the next day or that week, I had to like fly out. But I was still taking classes. So then I had to choose. She was like, if you don't come, you're not going to make the team. So you kind of have to choose between your classes and like go. It wasn't even like a question for me. Like, I'm leaving. I'm out. So like I leave that week. And then as I'm leaving, I sent like email to my teacher to let them know like, okay, I got drafted this situation. I'm not going to be able to come to class. Can I like somehow make it up? So he allowed me to make it up. So I did most of my stuff online. I had to do all my essays online. Okay. And then when you get there, they put you in a hotel. And it's like when you get drafted past the first round, you're not actually on the team. You still have to try out. So I came in, and obviously like two of the greatest players to ever play the game, Brianna Stewart and Brittany Griner, those are my teammates. And like they have a great team. So I was like, okay, I got to go in and really like perform. I'm not going to make the team. So when you go in, they only have like 1 or 2 spots available. So you have to beat out somebody who's actually already been on the team for a while. So it's actually harder for you to do that. So I go in for like a week. I'm doing well. Like I'm keeping up because I can do it athletically. Like I'm in shape. Like I kind of prepared for it. So I'm doing well. The one thing that was hard was like understanding the plays and like what they needed and the reads. So that was an adjustment. So I actually didn't think I did that well. And then we started playing like 2 exhibition games. And then after those 2 exhibition games, they make the team. So they let you know if you're on the team or you get cut. So I did the 2 exhibition games. I played okay. I wasn't really good. And then after the 2 games, she calls me in. And I'm thinking I'm going to get cut because it's like you don't know in that situation. There's like the head coach and the GM sitting right there, and they call you in to like let you know if you made the team or you did it. So I'm thinking I didn't make the team because they both kind of like unhappy or something like that. I just was like reading them, and then I go in and then I figure out that I made the team. So obviously I'm happy. And the girl that didn't make the team, actually, that I took her spot, she had been on the team for like 2 or 3 years. So like that's kind of like something that never happens. And then after that, it was just like they get you your own house and you gotta get your car and all that stuff, and it's like you just live the lifestyle of like a professional athlete.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was playing with the goat. I was playing with her. Like, what's make her special?
Her work ethic, like
Yeah.
one thing that like I noticed about her, she's super cool as a person. Like she's super like spunky, like she's funny, like she's always like kind of like silly in a sense, but she's super cool to be around. She's fun, but it's like her attention to detail. Like she'll come in and like her footwork is like perfect, like her form is like perfect. The little things that you don't really notice if you're like an amateur player compared to like a pro. Like she notices it. Like if you're off a little bit, she can tell like, okay, this is exactly what you did in order to miss a shot. Like she's super like finite on her details. Like it's like it's kind of like Steph Curry. Steph Curry understands like the footwork, the mechanics, and all that stuff, all the intellectual stuff. She's really good at it. She's not super athletic, but she understands what she does well, and then she kind of like she just perfects the little things.
Yeah. Okay. So, the whole WNBA career, did you what I guess what was the good and bad that you took from it?
The good, I would say, just playing against the best in the world. Like it just makes you want to be better. And, like it gives you a mindset to really push yourself and to see how good you are against the best in the world. The bad is like it's actually a business. Like they really don't. They don't care. Like if you're not it doesn't matter if you don't have a job or you don't know where you're gonna live after. Like they'll cut you like
that.
like just like that, and it's like bye. You can't even say bye to like your teammates. You're just done.
No?
Yeah, pick your stuff up and like you go. So like when that happened to me, I was like, yeah. Now like it kind of like hit me in the face. Like okay, I'm in the real world now. So that's when it really hit me.
And did you play overseas for a bit, like after or in between the year that you play in WNBA?
Yeah. So after I got cut from Phoenix, I actually went to a trial for Atlanta. I didn't make the team. And then that year, I played overseas for 3 years. So my first year was in Turkey, second year was in Hungary, and then my third year was in Poland.
Okay. What I guess the transition of you playing WNBA the best in the world to going to play overseas, what was the biggest difference for you?
The culture shock. So you go in and then people don't speak your language. You're pretty much the only black person. Like my first year in Turkey, there was a guy and like he couldn't understand the fact that I'm black and I wasn't from Africa. Like in his mind, every black person was from Africa. And he's like, "Oh, you're not from Africa?" I'm like, "No, I'm Canada." Like he didn't understand like the fact that black people don't only come from Africa. But, like that was the biggest thing. And like obviously your teammates don't speak English. Like some of your teammates speak English, but it's like broken English. They like tell you what the coach is saying, but it's not very like clear English. So that was the biggest thing. And then food, but I'm not very picky when it comes to food. But it's just like you kind of have all that time alone, and like you literally feel like you're alone because like there's no one kind of like you. You're kind of like the foreigner.
Okay. Can you kind of going back to the WNBA? Can you like just explain a little bit a typical, I guess, day in the life of a WNBA player, like practices and games, like how your schedule was and everything?
Yeah. So actually for Phoenix we're pretty chill because like our teammates, they're older, so they couldn't like in college like they would run us to death. So we go 3 hours, 2 hours in on the court and then an hour in the weight room, and then probably once a week or twice a week we do conditioning after in the evening. So like I was used to like really just going and working really hard. And the league is like you're on your own. Like if you want to get better, come to practice, but it's not going to be super intense or it's not going to be individualized to like help you get better. That you have to kind of like do off the court or like on your own time. So we go to practice. So wake up at like 7, 8 a.m. I would just eat quick breakfast. I would go to practice. Some of the players would get like massages or like get stretched or taped up. I didn't have to do any of that. I would just go in, and then you either have the option to do your workout, so your weightlifting workout before or after practice. I was just went before because I just want to get it over with. So I would go in, do my weightlifting before practice, and then we go to practice for an hour or 2 hours. And then after that, you go home, do your thing. Like if you want to chill, eat, do whatever you want. And then some days we have 2 days, but not often. So we come back in the evening and do the same thing, just work out and then go through the plays. And if we had a game that week, the day of the game or the day before, it's always just prep. So we prep and understand like, okay, this is how we're gonna guard so and so on a ball screen. This is how we're gonna, I don't know, this is how we're gonna play defense. This is how we're gonna run our offense against them. So it was really just prep. And then I just repeat. I think after the game we get a day off and then we go into repeat.
Were you watching a lot of films like to get better?
So I watch film on myself. Most of the time I go with the coach and that's where I watch film, but that was just like you do it when she had time and you kind of like figure it out.
Okay. You think that's something like maybe guys or girls should be doing at an early age? Because I guess some people, they only start watching tape in college or when they play pro, but you think that people should do it like at a younger age?
Like high school or, yeah.
It just depends. It depends what the player needs. Like for me, I could get away with it a bit because I was super athletic, but like some people who don't have the athleticism and really need like to understand the IQ of it, yeah, it's helpful. So like it just depends what the player needs. If they're really skill oriented and they need the IQ, do it because it can help. But either way, it's gonna help you. But it's just like it just really depends. Some people are not good with film. They're just better at, like doing the work and then figuring it out or like stuff like that. So it just depends.
Okay. Do you have any like any message to the people that I guess are trying, because you moved around a lot, right? Going from different high schools and then UCLA and Phoenix and playing 3 overseas. So you moved around a lot. Do you have any message for anybody out there that is scared, I guess, to make that move just because I guess it's a different country, it's a different culture, so do you have any message to them and how to maybe ease to make it like it's not as bad as it sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's like you have to understand what your conviction is and like what your purpose is and what your drive is. Like for me, the reason why I wanted to leave is because like I was like we were poor, like we didn't have a lot of stuff. So like for the most part, like I just didn't want to live in poverty anymore, and like I just didn't want to be in that pain associated with living in poverty and struggling and like not having enough. So although I was scared to leave, like my fear of like staying where I was greater than my fear of leaving. So like the person just has to understand that yes, you're going to be scared. Yes, it's going to be uncertain. You're not going to know what's going to happen. But if your drive and your motivation is bigger than that, then it's always going to overcome that fear. And that's what it did for me.
Okay.
And after your playing years, right, what are you doing right now?
So right now, literally trying to figure out life. So like it's like I didn't understand. I guess when you play basketball, everything's super structured. You know what you're gonna eat, in practices, and like literally that's your life.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like trying to figure out like I actually just had to figure out how to pay taxes. I didn't have to pay taxes when I was overseas. I've never had to do that. And now I'm like figuring out how to pay taxes and like literally trying to figure out how to live in the real world without basketball. So one thing I'm interested in right now is I'm actually having a training program. I'm going to do a couple of camps and training sessions. And I'm also, I'm in the process of becoming a life coach. So to get certified and like have my own business and stuff like that. So right now I'm going down the entrepreneur route and like want to create a business with the life coaching and also the training to help kids and guide them.
Okay. So why did you stop to decide just to kind of basketball's kind of done for me right now? When you decide that, why did you decide that?
It was last year, and like it was just a lot of deep reflection. So when you go overseas, obviously you have practice, and basketball is like your life, but that's like 2 hours out of the day, 2 to 3 hours out of the day you're playing basketball, and for the rest of the day you kind of just chill, like you're alone, you do your own thing. So for the most part, I did a lot of reflection, and I had to figure out like why I was losing my love for basketball, and I kind of realized that for so long I was using it as a vehicle to get out of poverty for me it was like personal because my dad left when I was young, so I wanted him to regret leaving. So I was like, I'm just gonna be super successful and like make him realize that when he left it was like the worst thing he could have did. So that was like my driving force. But then after like I achieved all this success and basketball was going good, I really didn't feel fulfilled. Like I wasn't happy like as I was when I was growing up playing. It was just like I played because I loved it. So I was losing a lot of that, and I wanted to understand why. And then when I got to a point where I was successful and I did prove them wrong, and I had everything I wanted, I was like, is this it? Like, I want a gold medal. I have everything I want. I'm making good money, but I don't feel happy. So then that's when I kind of decided, like, okay, the one thing that makes me really happy is giving back, being able to impact people and, like, serve people. That's when I feel the most fulfilled. And I knew I couldn't do that with basketball because when you're a professional basketball player, everything is about you. Everything is, like, egocentric, like meaning that if you win or you score 30, it feels good, it makes your ego big, but it's not fulfilling. It's just temporary. So when I figured that out, I was just like, you know what, basketball is not it. Like, I'm trying to fill a void with basketball and it's not working. So that's when I figured out, like, okay, let's go somewhere else and see where it takes me.
Okay, and do you miss it sometime? And second question is, does some people are always calling you or telling you, oh, Nirra, you're so good, no, keep playing. And how's the pressure of when people, I guess, always telling you, oh, you only 25, 26, keep playing?
Right. Like, before I retired, I asked, like, a bunch of people, what should I do? And, like, I didn't understand that. Like, I already knew what I wanted to do. I just wanted somebody to confirm my decision. And obviously, like, nobody knows how I'm feeling but me. So from the outside looking in, it looks like I have a perfect life. I have the success. I have the money. Like, I'm doing really well. Like, I'm just at the prime of my career. So they don't understand, like, the backstory. So they can't really give me an accurate answer. And obviously, like, them telling me I'm good and them, like, understanding that I have it made is cool. It was cool, obviously, but I knew deep down, like, okay, this is not what I want to do. It's not making me happy, and I want to do something else. So it wasn't hard after I told myself, like, no one can give me confirmation but me. Like, if I want to stop playing basketball, it's on me to, like, stop. And when I realized that, I was like, yeah, it didn't matter. And actually, I don't miss basketball. Like,
you don't miss it?
Don't miss it. I actually, like, I don't know why. Maybe I played it so long, but, like, I can go to the gym for, like, 10, 20 minutes, and then after that, I'm, like, bored. I'm like, I can't. I got to go somewhere else. That's how I feel. And it's weird.
Do you do other stuff to, I guess, stay in shape or?
Yeah, so I still go to gym and, like, I weight lift and I do cardio, obviously. Like, that's always going to be a part of me. I don't think that's going to change.
Do you play in any hoop leagues or any?
No, at all? I literally just retired, so I have no desire. Maybe a year or two, but yeah, like, I just had it. I'm like, I just want to take a long break from it.
Okay, so is there a chat? Okay.
Like, I want to go play baseball. I'm done.
Is there a chance maybe in 2 years you might pull a Jordan and come back? You know,
hey, maybe, but I don't. Right now, I'm like, good. I don't need to play that.
Okay.
And where are you staying right now? Are you back in Montreal, stays? Where are you at?
Right now I'm in Mississauga. So I'm trying to build a company here. So with the training and stuff like that. I'm actually going to do a couple of camps in Montreal. I'll go back and do some camps when COVID's done. So yeah, that's all in the works.
Oh, that's okay. Where in Montreal would you do the camps? Like, do you have an idea? Back to DJ Sports or? Yeah,
probably DJ. It would probably be good. Or like,
if you need a gym, let me know. Because
sure.
Yeah, I'm a coordinator at do you know the Jewish YMCA?
Where is that?
It's on the Carry. It's
I've been to, like, every YMCA. If I see it, I probably.
For sure, you say yeah. So I take care of the gym there. So if you need a gym, it's a big 2 courts. Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah, take your word on that. I'm gonna hit you up.
Oh, for sure. Let me know. Yeah. Definitely. So during this time that we're in, the pandemic and stuff, like, what are you doing to stay in shape or to, I guess, what do you do with, like, what are you doing in everyday lives, I guess, now?
So I'm doing a lot of running. So I do a lot of sprinting. I'll go to, like, the track and do some cardio. So I'll do that, like, every other day. But for the most part, it's just, like, push-ups. We have some, like, resistant bands. So it's a lot of body weight stuff. Very different from what, like, I'm accustomed to. But I always try to, like, get something in at least an hour a day. Just kind of, like, do cardio and then do, like, not weightlifting, but body weight stuff.
Okay. And do you stay in contact with your former teammates? Like, do you still talk to them or?
Yeah, some of them. So like 2 or 3 girls from UCLA, and then I was supposed to do a camp with Kia before this all ended. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Do you have any message for, I guess, because a lot of when I go to a lot of gyms, a lot of girls that that are young, they don't want to play with the guys, because it's either they're scared of physicality, either they're like, I'm nervous, either they'll block me or blah, blah, I don't know. So do you have any message for them saying like, go for it, because look where it brought you, so a lot of them will appreciate it. So do you have anything to say to them?
Like, don't be scared. Like, obviously, like I still have that fear, and I still have that like that in the back of my head. Like, if I get hit, is it gonna hurt? When you're actually in it, like initially you're scared, but when you start getting the flow of it, it's just like playing with girls. So, like, obviously the first step is always harder, but if you can force yourself to really just go and take a chance, no matter if you get blocked, you can get blocked all the time. Like everybody used to like take the ball from me, but like every time that happened, it just made me better. So I just kind of like embraced the failure, and I would go in, and then obviously you would see like my game progress, and I would play better against the guys. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. So just do it.
Okay. Now we're gonna play a little game. My game is: can you name me your starting 5, all-time starting 5 that you play with?
Oh, that's a good question. That I played with: Brittany Griner, Dennis Crosby, Dennis Crosby. Kia's doing it right now. Kia Nurse. From DJ Sports, Fatu. I don't know if you know Fatu. She's like super tall. She was really good. And the last one would be
you can put yourself, huh?
Oh, I was. Her name is Markel Walker. She was the best passer I ever played with. I played with her at UCLA.
Okay. And who's the coach? Who's the coach?
Yeah. Who's the coach? Yeah. I ever played for?
Yeah.
Moses.
Shout out. Okay, and me. So this game is called Start, Bench, Cut.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you 3. Okay, you have to start 1, bench 1, cut 1. Okay. So obviously being able to represent your country, Team Canada, on all the levels together. So all the levels. Going to the Sweet 16. Okay, and being able to play, getting drafted to the WNBA.
Who would I start?
Yeah, and which one would you bench? Which one would you cut?
So start, Diana Taurasi. Bench. It's a good one. I would have to bench Brittany. Sorry, I have to bench Brittany. Cut, I would have to say. Yeah, I would say Kia.
Yeah. Okay. So now, that's okay. Good players. Now, which in your whole, I guess where you got in your life. So playing for Team Canada, playing WNBA, and March Madness. Which of these would you start, bench, or cut?
Start WNBA, bench NIT. Yeah, cut NCAA.
Wait, you'll cut. Okay.
NIT. I mean NIT. Did I say NIT?
Yeah.
Okay. How about Team Canada? Throw in there. Which one? Would you bench them? Cut them? Like.
Oh, so you want it from Team Canada?
Yeah.
So then I'll do it again. So start WNBA.
Yeah.
Bench Canada, and then cut
UCLA. Jeez. Yeah. Okay.
And there's one thing we forgot to mention. How was the experience playing in an all McDonald's American?
Oh yeah.
You're the only
girl first female. Playing all American Canadian female. Yeah. How was that?
How was the experience?
It was dope. I mean, it was in Chicago, and then it's obviously like all the guys in high school that are gonna go to college, but are obviously pro players. So that year, who was at the McDonald's game? I was there. So Shabazz Muhammad was one. Jordan Adams. Who else? Oh, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart was there. Who else? There was like a couple of guys that are in the NBA that were there. And it was like cool to like see like all the big time players in high school for the guys and the girls. And like that year was the first year they had the girls like they had the girls in the dunk competition because I think it was Brianna Stewart who was able to dunk and another girl. And so they had let the girls in the dunk competition and she came in second. So it was like cool to see that. And then obviously to play in Chicago at where the Chicago Bulls played. That was cool. Yeah. We play our game and then they get us like a box and then we just be able to watch the guys' game. So it was super dope.
Oh, wow.
And Seth, another last question because I guess I'm a fan. Throughout your 4 years at UCLA, who was the best player like that you saw play at UCLA? Was it Zach LaVine, Napier, Jordan, Adam? Like who was the best player?
The best?
Kyle Anderson?
Yeah, Kyle was there. Kyle's slow. I don't even like his game. But he was super cool. I liked him. He's a good guy. The best? The most consistent and the best, I would say, was, what's his name? He plays for the Raptors.
Oh, Norman Powell.
Yeah, Norman. I think Norman was the best. He was more consistent because when Zach was there, Zach was okay. He didn't play a lot. He came off the bench. And then he started to, like, make a name in the NBA. Okay. Kyle was good, obviously, but like I just didn't like his game. He was too slow for me. Jordan was really good. Like he would knock down everything. He was like their best scorer. Shabazz was good.
Looney was there, I think, last year.
Yeah. Kevon was there, but he didn't play well. Norman played probably the best out of all of them.
And Sabaz Mohammed, how was he?
He was good. He was up and down. Like he was inconsistent. He still made it to the NBA, but like I don't think he's in the NBA anymore.
No.
He's always been like up and down. Norman was like the most consistent.
Okay. Well, listen, Nirra Fields, thank you so much for being in this episode and talking about your journey that I wish many, both males and females, dream of, and sharing your journey and how the challenges, I guess, struggles, also the joyful part of it, the good stuff about it. Thank you for being a part of it and sharing with us. We appreciate it.
Merci d'avoir accepté l'invitation encore. C'est sûr, il y a beaucoup de personnes qui vont regarder l'interview puis qui vont être fascinées de tous les trucs que tu viens de dire. So, merci encore d'avoir accepté.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Good. All right, to our listeners watching and listening, subscribe on all platforms. Once again, my name is Seth Amoa, a.k.a. Essay.
My name is Kenny, a.k.a. KJL.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Hoo-wah!